Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse ended with a brutal Far From Home homecoming with no way home. Spoiler warning before I continue, of the many beautifully designed universes of this film, the most gripping is the one that we end the film trapped inside of, EARTH-42. Turns out the number 42 wasn't just a random number on Miles' spider, or a number that followed him around on his jersey, the cluttered numbers on the sidewalk, nods to Jackie Robinson and The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but really the number of the nightmare dimension that was waiting for him all this time. A nightmare of his own making. I'm going to break down what EARTH-42 is, its timeline, and how our Miles' next move against his alternate Prowler self is not what you think and was hinted at earlier in the movie if you were paying attention. Now, I broke down the 2018 Into the Spider-Verse for dozens of new details and hosted a live stream of Across the Spiderverse on the Deep Dive channel. Subscribe and support us with a Miles Morales Multiverse Dive shirt at nerdriot.shop. In case you missed it, New Rockstars isn't just one channel anymore, it's three! Earlier this year, we launched the Deep Dive, where I dig into the deeper meaning behind everything you love, and our newest channel, The Break Room, is where all of your nerdy friends are gonna hang out online. It's also the new home for Inside Marvel and all of our reactions to the latest trailers, TV shows, and movies. We've got so many cool videos planned, so head on over and subscribe. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to the New Rockstars main channel and the Deep Dive. Okay, in Across the Spider-Verse, we learned that the spider that bit Miles, Alchemix Spider number 42, got that number from the fact that it came from EARTH-42 and was brought to 1610 by Alchemix scientist Jonathan Owen, the guy who got hit in the head with a bagel and was exposed to dark matter from the collider and became the Spot. According to Owen's backstory, this spider was native to EARTH-42 and got transported to 1610 right before it was going to bite a student in a classroom based on that uniquely braided hair. That is EARTH-42 Miles G. Morales, the one our Miles meets in the final sequence. This is a huge deal because it tells us that this anomalistic spider wasn't intended for a Peter Parker, but for a Miles Morales. EARTH-42 was never going to have a Peter Parker Spider-Man, only a Miles Morales Spider-Man, and a Miles that went to school, and for all we know, was a good kid. This spider getting extracted by the collider and transported to 1610 messed everything up. It doomed EARTH-42. Now, that's not our Miles' fault, despite what Miguel O'Hara says. It was really 1610 Kingpin and his Alchemix scientists, including Owen, who hijacked EARTH-42's spider, and that spider just sought out the closest thing to its Miles to bite, and that just happened to be 1610 Miles. And ironically, it bit Miles when he was doing some goofus shit with Uncle Aaron, not when he was in school like his gallant variant was. EARTH-42 Miles pays attention in class. EARTH-1610 Miles turns his book assignment into graffiti. But why did the spider target a Miles and not a Peter to begin with? Well, that's probably something to do with the web of life and destiny, my friends, and the whole Spider-Verse needing one Miles to prove the whole system, according to Miguel O'Hara's interpretation, is messed up and corrupt. I think that's what Across the Spider-Verse and next year's Beyond the Spider-Verse will prove to be all about. We need to think beyond the Spider-Verse, and why forcing every Spider-Person through a prescription order of canon events is actually harmful and destabilizing. But in this movie's final act, we see how that spider swap altered the comparative trajectories and timelines of 1610 and 42. 1610 saw Kingpin get arrested, his cronies thwarted, and Alchemix's collider wrecked. This movie's first act returns to that collider site to fight it undergoing an environmentally safe cleanup operation. Miles's parents, Jeff and Rio, are still alive and doing well. Uncle Aaron rests in peace, and Brooklyn seems to be a relatively safe space aside from a few villains of the week. EARTH-42, meanwhile, is rough. A bizarro world in the vein of 1985B from Back to the Future 2. Miles accidentally travels here after the Go Home machine scanned its DNA and detected the spider DNA, the screen reading EARTH-42, and Miles was sent here by mistake. Now, to be clear, Miles still glitches in this reality, so the rest of his DNA is still grounded in 1610. Really, Miles just has the shared DNA of 42 and 1610. But in this very first shot of Miles landing in EARTH-42, on a rainy and red and green lit rooftop on a nearby building is the number 6, which I think could be a sign pointing to the Sinister Six cartel that runs this place. There's also a sign for 42 Sushi, and signs all over pointing to different members of the Sinister Six. Vulture Telecom, and then in Times Square there's a WW sign instead of M&M, and Soda Coca, when in 1610 it's Coca Soda, and then there's a sign for 2G cell coverage from Electro. Just 2G, not 4G or 5G, 2G. The Sinister Six cartel is dooming everyone with crappy cell coverage. Hey, kick bad habits to the curb, let good habits into your life, and say hello to Fume. Bad habits are bad, good habits are good. So why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, Fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets. It's super fidgety, which is perfect for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your bad habit? Using a fume is like having a breath of fresh minty air coming out of a world-class fidget toy that looks like it came from a schmancy gift shop. Stopping a bad habit is something we've all put off because it's hard, but switching to fume is easy. Over 100,000 people have used fume to successfully break out of bad habits, and now you can too. Head to tryfume.com and use code NEWROCKSTARS to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use code NEWROCKSTARS to save an additional 10% off your order today. Then in Miles' bedroom, gone are his 1610 toys and posters and fun kid stuff. And instead are grimy milk crates and a speed bag. Rio asks why Miles took out his braids. Around Rio's house, there's hardly any photos that show Jeff. Rio's still doing Miles' laundry and working overnight shifts to take care of him though. So that's one hopeful constant across universes, a mother's love. And you may notice the color scheme of Earth-42 tends to be green and purple. It's especially pronounced in Miles' bedroom. And then as he transitions to the rooftop, the green stairwell light going into the purple skyline outside. When 1610 Peter first saw Miles in the 2018 film, he saw him with a green and purple aura, the villainous colors of Green Goblin. And remember, Norman Osborn wore green and purple hobo sweats in No Way Home. And now Miles is back in that green and purple world that he would have stayed in had Peter not seen that red and blue goodness in him. But I think it's important to note that in Aaron's apartment, the colors casting light over everything are red and blue, which is actually in this world a noble color. But then on the rooftop, this purple lit city is covered in neon signs, one of them Hammerhead, then a green and yellow sign that looks like Scorpion or Scorpio. Aaron's phone lights up and he side eyes Miles, probably a text from Earth-42 Miles that he's on his way home. And then when Miles is KO'd by Prowler, he collapses with his dad's memorial mural framed perfectly behind him. Then inside Aaron's apartment, when Miles sees Earth-42 Prowler Miles, he lands in front of the TV where we hear the voice of J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, reporting the so-called Sinister Six cartel. So based on these clues, the Sinister Six cartel in Earth-42 includes at least the Vulture, Electro, Hammerhead, Scorpion, and a few others. Could be Norman Osborn Goblin, could be Doc Ock, could be Kingpin, or any number of other Spider-Man villains. Because remember, before Miles was bitten, 1610 Peter Parker had battled plenty of villains and locked them up. But in Earth-42, no Spider-Man means criminals had nothing standing in their way other than poor Jeff Morales. And it sounds like their corruption of the city has been through low-grade consumer technology and telecommunication. Like remember, that cop car that Miles ran into was being driven by a cop staring at his smartphone. But my question here is, if the Sinister Six cartel had such control over the city, why would Aaron and Earth-42 Miles Prowler need to sneak around if they were also criminals, like waiting for a security guard shift rotation? Despite the nightmarish tones, it's not for sure that Aaron and 42 Miles are evil. They might just be rugged survivalists trying to get by, working outside the law. And if that law is the cartel, they might actually be good guys trying to bring the cartel down. Remember, that spider was trying to bite this universe's Miles. It might have sensed something good in him. But remember that advice that 1610 Miles' mother Rio gave him. She said, quote, "For years I've been trying to take care of this little boy, right? Making sure he's loved, that he feels like he belongs wherever he wants to be. He wants to go out in the world and do great big things. And what I worry about most is that they won't root for you like us. So here's the deal. Wherever you go from here, you have to promise to take care of that little boy for me. Make sure he never forgets where he comes from, that he never doubts that he's loved, and that he never lets anyone at those big fancy places he's gonna be in tell him that he doesn't belong there. And when he comes home, and he better come home, you're gonna be early and you're gonna be holding a normal nice cake." She talks about Miles in the third person, to his face, making him promise not to take care of himself, but promise to take care of that little boy for me. That little boy is Miles G. Morales from Earth-42, the little boy who was supposed to be Spider-Man but never got that chance, and still, I believe, might be a Prowler trying to do the right thing in a Sinister Six cartel-dominated universe. So Miles' mission in the next movie might not be to destroy his variant, but to be the brother to him that the Spider Society failed to be for him. Hey, a reminder to subscribe to our new channel, The Deep Dive. Also subscribe to The Break Room, and support us by grabbing some merch at nerdriot.shop. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars, and subscribe to New Rockstars for more analysis of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Bye.